The Transcendental Railroad. A history of blood, iron, and legacy that shaped America. Hitori Nakamoto. Introduction. The myth of progress. There is a certain mythology we tell ourselves about progress. It is the story of big ideas and stubborn people, of dreamers who imagined the future before we could all make sense of it. The American Railroad fits this narrative perfectly. We picture smoke rolling from steam engines, steel tracks stretching far into the western horizon, and an iron horse knitting a divided land. The railroad was the great equalizer, we're told, the bridge between old and new, the engine that made American and industrial power. But this tale, like most origin myths, omits the blood and sweat that made it even possible. Considered one of the greatest engineering feats of the 19th century, the Transcontinental Railroad was more than a technological marvel, however. It was a theater of clashing interests, political, economic, and personal. It was a vow and a betrayal, an act of ambition and a lesson in sacrifice. It was a paradox, a power that bonded and separated, created and wrecked, uplifted and took advantage of. It was, in other words, a perfect mirror of America itself. To know the railroad is to know the nation that built it. There was an idea before a single rail was laid, before a single mountain pass was carved. That the United States was too big a country for geography to keep it together. That a force stronger than geography existed, a force that could outpace the divisive impulses of war and politics. The stakes were high. Scars from the Civil War had run deep across the land, and what the country would be after the ashes had settled was an unsettled question. The conveyance among settlements was not only a transport mean, it was a declaration of intention. It declared that the country would move forward, fast, recklessly, and at any cost. The cost, of course, was enormous. The tracks were laid by men who would never ride the trains they built, whose names were lost to history even as the financiers and industrialists who bankrolled the project became legends. Chinese laborers, toiling in brutal conditions, blasted through the Sierra Nevada, ever-laden corpses buried beneath the tunnels they created. Irish immigrants, Civil War veterans, and freed slaves labored from the Great Plains, their lives surrendered for progress they would never really enjoy. Among whom Native American tribes whose land was razed without a second thought found their way of life slowly stripped, mined, and blown. Their revolt met not with negotiation but rapid retribution, however they fought back. But the railroad was also a marvel, a testament to what people could achieve when focused on.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?